Before starting the presentation, I just will present myself in a few words. So my name is Laurent. I'm 30. I'm working at KBC Brussels as business manager expat. I started at KBC Brussels 3 months ago, and before that I was working for another big bank in Belgium as key account manager expat and digital manager. During this experience, I met and helped about 250 expats on their arrival in Belgium. So I think that I have a good idea of the needs and expectation of expat people. Sorry for my accent, as you probably can hear, I'm a French speaker. My father is perfectly bilingual, and I remember when I was 18, he told me, Laurent, please pay attention to your accent, that's very important. But on the other side, my mother said, no, don't worry, with girls, that was very different pronunciation. For you, and I, yes, I chosen the second solution. I received your question from Eleanor and Pauline. I will try to answer all the questions, but if not, please keep it in mind. I came with 3 experts of KBC Brussels, so after the presentation, you don't hesitate to meet them and ask a question to them. They are there for that. Here is the agenda. So, little presentation of KBC Brussels. Why Brussels, in fact? Buying or renting Brussels in its 19 districts. Purchasing real estate with different steps. Investing in Brussels, is it a good idea? How do public authorities support my housing project and KBC Brussels as partner of the project? So, KBC Brussels, as I said, I just arrived 3 months ago. I discovered a really and truly Brussels bank. A good team with a startup mind and a customer-centric spirit. It's a part of KBC Group, as you probably know. KBC is leader in Flanders. There's 3 brands on the market: KBC in Flanders, CBC in Wallonia, and KBC Brussels in Brussels. We have 34 one-stop shopping branches in Brussels, and we have an approach dedicated to expat with a special package, but that's not the topic of the day. But if you're interested in, please, we can talk after the presentation. In fact, why Brussels? Expats who are living in Brussels for more than a year often say that Brussels people in Brussels are friendly, are nice, are welcoming, and I think it's in general the same everywhere in Belgium. As capital of Europe, Brussels is multicultural, and that's where its charm comes from. That's very rich. I will try to illustrate Brussels with 4 numbers. So 15%, you know, what's that? Yeah. 15% of the population in Brussels are expatriates. So that's huge. More than 130,000 persons are expat in Brussels. 120? No idea?
Nationalities?
No. That's the number of parks, gardens, and green areas in Brussels. Yes. You have to know that 50% of Brussels is green. So that's a good point. 104 languages. Yes. There are 104 languages spoken in Brussels. That's a proof of the multiculturality. And 200.
That's the number of kilometers of traffic jams.
Yeah. No, that's the particularity of Brussels. That's the number of rainy days in Brussels. That's why Brussels is charming too, of course. No, but for the business, Brussels is also really attractive and cheaper than the other capitals, as you can see in this table. And I remember when I was key account manager, lots of clients told me, Laurent, it's crazy, with the price of my 70 meters apartment in Paris, I can buy here a villa with a garden and 5 rooms. And that's a reality. Brussels is attractive for that. Topic of the day, buying or renting. What's the best solution? In fact, it's complicated. It depends on many parameters. How long you want to stay in Belgium. If you like Belgium, you don't like Belgium. it depends of your personal, financial situation. So there is no real answer, but I can give you some advantages and disadvantages for each solution. So for renting, the first one, you pay only for rent and utility bills. You don't have any property tax every year, so that's the easier way. You have a lease agreement of 1 or 3 years, so if you have a change in your family or work situation, that's easy to take a decision. Disadvantages of renting: the rent you pay is gone. You put your money through the window. Yeah. It's often impossible to rent a home. If you want to paint a wall, okay, it's possible, but you have to pay for that. And landlord can terminate the contract, but there's some conditions. For example, if one landlord wants to give his house to a member of his family, he can say, okay, 3 months before, okay, we stop the contract now. For buying, advantages: you build for heritage, so you put the money, that's an investment that's for you in the future, of course. You can arrange your property as you want, and real estate in Brussels is an investment. We will see that later, and I think my colleague of Lato Petit will talk about that too. Disadvantages: you need between 15 and 20% of the price in cash for interest. We will come back to discuss later. You have a property tax to pay each year, and if you need to move quickly, selling a house could take time, of course. Brussels, it's 19 districts. Where are the best places to live in Brussels? Where is the best for living, renting, buying? I will give you some information. We'll make a little trip into Brussels. So let's start with information. 85% of the expats is located in 7 districts in Brussels: Ixelles, Etterbeek, Uccle, Watermal, Oderghem, Woluwe. So we can see that on the south east of Brussels. That's not a surprise. We'll understand why just later. Ixelles, Woluwe, Saint-Pierre, Woluwe, Saint-Lambert, Oderghem, and Uccle are the most expensive districts. Saint-Josse, Oderghem, and Koekelberg. There's Saint-Josse, Koekelberg, and Oderghem are the districts with the biggest increase in the real estate markets. We will see the rates just after that. And Uccle and Watermal-Beaufort are the only 2 districts with a decline. Those market was a little bit overrated, so that's not a surprise. Let's start with the northern districts: Jet, Gensoren, Berchem, Saint-Agathe. So we saw that's here. More and more people are seduced by those districts. There are lots of new housing, and the prices are affordable. So young couples and investors are really interested to go there. That moves, and that's good because it was a little bit forgotten districts in the past. Ixelles and Saint-Gilles, so close to the heart of Brussels. Ixelles is the second most expensive district in Brussels. There are lots of expats, lots of French people. As you can see, 11,000 French are living in Ixelles. That's a very active neighborhood with lots of bar, restaurant, universities and international schools. So that's great to live there. That's young and dynamic. Saint-Gilles is the new Ixelles with an increase of 15% in the real estate market. It's becoming more and more popular, and investors are very present there. So that's a great place to live too. That's so close. That's that's here. Ixelles and Saint-Gilles, so close from the heart of Brussels. Uccle, Woluwe, Watermal-Beaufort, Oderghem. By living there, it's very hard to imagine that we are so close from the heart of the capital. That's very different of the rest. There you can find some big villas with gardens, with parks, with sounds, with forest, That's very different, but you're so close from the heart of Brussels. There is a lycée français and international schools there, and as I said, the prices is very high, so the market's a little bit overrated. So we can attend a little correction for this year and next year. Anderlecht, Molenbeek, Koekelberg, around the canal. That's the cheapest district of Brussels, but the Plan Canal, it's a political plan, allows new perspectives. It will create some employment, some new housing. The goal is to strengthen the economic activity, and they want, in fact, to attract new companies and investors there. You can see that last year there was an increase of 15% in the real estate market in Koekelberg, 11 in Anderlecht, and 5.2 in Molenbeek. So that's good to invest, and the Plan Canal goes well. So that's very good for those parts of Brussels, because in the actuality it's not always easy when we talk about Molenbeek, but yes. Purchasing real estate, what are the different steps? The first one, of course, is finding accommodation. For me, it's the more complex point. You have different ways to do that. The usual way is via a real estate agent. That's usually you give your criteria and you will look for you. You will pay a fee for that, of course. But you have some specialized websites as ImoWeb, that's very good. Or you can just go out in Brussels and look for your housing. Second point, estimate the cost of the project. You can do that with your banker. He will give you all the cost, but notaire.be is a very good site to have a good idea of different costs when you buy a new housing. That's an official site, so you can be confident with that. But you will have only purchasing cost and no banking cost, because it's different for every bank and every project. Make a non-binding offer. I think that's a key point. So when you found the house of the apartment, you can make an offer to the seller. It's very important to make a non-binding offer, because when you sign an offer, you commit to buy the house. So if you don't have the credit, you engage, and that's a problem. With a non-binding offer, with a specific clause, this specific clause says that the offer is related to the acceptation of your mortgage loan by the bank. So if you don't have the credit after, the offer is cancelled. So make a non-binding offer really protects you in the future with the seller. There is a special clause in French that with a clause suspensive, that's a French term, okay? In case of acceptation of my mortgage loan. It's writing on the offer. The offer is accepted, champagne, not yet. Now, if you pay cash, okay, champagne. If not, as for funding before, you can have an appointment with your banker. Banks allow borrows maximum 100% of the price. The rest of the cost you have to bring in cash. You want to make some renovation? Okay, no problem. You can ask for another credit at the same condition of your mortgage loan. Okay. Credit accepted, champagne. When the credit is accepted, you will take an appointment at notary, and you engage. So you will pay 10% in advance of the price. If you change, if you have to leave or something, you lose those 10%. So be careful. Ad notary will sign a formal agreement with the seller. So normally, nothing can happen after that. Maximum 4 months later, you see the final act at notary, and congrats, your owner. We'll see now the different costs and what's in. I found my house. Can I negotiate the price? I know it was a question of some money. There is two different kinds of offers. That's in French because you will see that in French on the website. Faire offre à partir de, so make offer from. Normally you cannot negotiate the price with this term. The seller wants to have minimum this amount. If it's prix souhaité, so want price, you can try to negotiate the price. So the seller say, okay, I would like to have, I don't know, 300,000 euro for my house. You can make an offer a little bit low to get a best price. What are the different costs in addition to the price of the house? There are two different costs, purchasing cost and banking cost. Purchasing costs, there are costs related to the mortgage guarantee. So when you ask for mortgage loan, the bank will take a guarantee on the housing. And you have to pay for that, but it depends of the percentage for each guarantee. So that's very personal, but you will pay for that. Registration fees, 12.5%. That's for Brussels. In Flanders, that's 10%, and Wallonia, that's also 12.5%. And you have some notary's fees, the cost to pay the notary. And all those costs are between 15 and 20% of the final price. In addition, you have banking costs, fees, it depends on the bank, but it's between 500 and 700 to pay for managed loan. And your life insurance, it depends on the coverage percentage, your age, weight and size, and smoker or not. So it's also very personal. It's too difficult to give you an example of price like that because it depends on you. But bank demand for that, and it's obligatoire. That's an obligation. Investing in Brussels, is it a good idea? I would say yes. I don't have any crystal ball. I cannot predict the future, but the trends and the indicators are good for the moment. The real estate market increases, the rental demand remains high, and rates are historically low. You could see here the different increase in the real estate market. You have some example of average price in Brussels. That's very different if you buy in Uccle or in Gensoren, but that's an average price with the return you could hope to have when you invest in Brussels. So for a house of 150 square meters, about 341,000 euro, you can hope for a return of 4.85% a year. So that's good. Bucks, that's parking lot. That's very good in Brussels. That's a good idea for little investors. How do public authorities support my housing project? So we saw that in Brussels there are 12.5% duties on sale of real estate, but public authorities offer you an abatement on those taxes. There are some conditions, of course, here. So you have an abatement brought to 175,000 euro, but there are conditions. Buyers on dwelling sale price doesn't exceed 500,000 euro. Remains buyer on dwelling for 5 years. The buyers know how the dwelling. The buyer is a natural person, so not a company, and in full ownership only. If you respect those conditions, it's very interesting. I will show you a table with example. So if you buy something with a sale price of 100,000 euro, you don't have to pay any registration tax when you buy the house, the apartment, the parking. If you have a sale price of 400,000 euro, you will pay, but between 175,000 euro and 400,000 euro. So you have a tax savings of 21,875 euros. So that's interesting. But you have to stay in the conditions. And that's not easy because when you arrive in Belgium, you don't know how long you will stay, and one of those conditions is to stay minimum 5 years in the house. And to be honest, it started on the 1st of January 2017, so that's quite new. And I don't know what's happened if you leave your house because it's too new. But you can see also that if you buy a housing with a higher price than 500,000 euro, you don't have any abatement possible. So you pay full registration duties. Public authorities can offer you some bonuses if you make some renovation in your house. So if you transform your home more green, you can have some bonuses. If you make lots of renovation, you can have bonuses too, but that's very technical and personal. So I can give you a presentation with those links. You click there and you have all the information you need with the price per square meter. So that's very good. But here it's too difficult to give you some example because that's so huge. KBC Brussels as partner for your project. So as I said, I just arrived in KBC Brussels in the beginning of January. We are very customer-centric and we provide advices in function related to your personal project. That's a great point. I think 75% of the decision for the credit are taken in branch, so we go fast to give you a final decision. That's a good point. We know that's really important for a customer to go fast for them to take a decision and to be positioned on an offer. Here are the most important parameters in a credit decision we take in the bank fees. So we check the cost price of the home and your own contribution. So as I said, bank borrow 100% of the price, but if you say, okay, I don't need 100%, I only need 70%, that's very different, and you can have a better rate with this approach. Repayment capacity, of course, based on current income and outgoing, within considered by proof of earnings, and value of the property. So is the amount of the requested loan proportionate to the value of established collateral. In fact, housing projects is very personal, and it's always different for each of you, of course. So if you have a project, if you want to do a simulation, if you have more questions, you have 3 solutions with KBC Brussels. We have 80 housing and insurance experts in 34 branches in Brussels. We have a live, KBC Brussels live, with housing experts from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. by phone or video chat. On site web you can make a simulation in 10 minutes. You have all what you need. You have a 4th solution because I came with 3 experts today, so don't hesitate to ask them your question and we'll answer to that. Okay, thank you.